All right, welcome to another Stormgate cast. I'm Algorithmor, and this is just going to be a ladder game between Dutchy here in the blue Infernal. Dutchy, of course, being a streamer, you can catch him out on Twitch often. And he's been climbing the ladder, and he's about 1800 to 1900 as an Infernal, and is and I think about the top 300 or 400 on the ladder. And he's playing against, well, let's see if we can find the Arc ship here, Kaguya in the red Celestial, and this is played out on Isle of Dread in patch 0.1. Like I said, on the ladder, and I have not actually seen this game yet, so I'm casting it blind. And this is a game that Dutchy sent me and said he thought it was a pretty good game with a lot of action. So let's check it out. Let's see if we can see some of that action. Maybe this action starts right now as this Hexen arrives in the base, scouting it out. What does it see? It just sees an array. I think it might be a good idea to send a skull down here to see what's going on. But I think one thing that was important there that Dutchy saw was there was no gas or no therium mining, and with no therium mining, that's usually a good indication that there's not some kind of starport cheese or Legion Hall cheese or something on the map. So good news, that means you can maybe safely do your creeping, and that's what we see out of Dutchy here, who opened it obviously with a conclave since he's got two gaunts on the map here. And does he have a vault with that? No, he's got a little imp getting ready to do. There we go, we called it. And off to continue creeping the health camp, it looks like. We caught a glimpse of the initial creeping here for Kaguya of this B camp, but that initial laser beam is not enough to kill all of them. So now this Argent has to come and finish it off. It looks like this Archip's heading back home, maybe to get some of this mining done, or a little bit quicker. Of course, the prisms can fly over to the Arc ship, but that'll just speed up the mining of the Ethereum ore. Finally cleared out this camp, and at the same time, Dutchy's cleared out the health camp. And oh, okay, this is an interesting choice. Where's he going? Maybe to this vision camp or a little bit of pressure. Instead of continuing creeping, at least on his side of the map, this fiend is sort of either a scout fiend or he's just, ooh, interesting little butt taken out by these Argents. And is Dutchy gonna continue to commit? Decides to do so. It's a fairly safe commit, with these shadow demons bugging out right now in the current patch and not doing the correct amount of damage, meaning you can creep them without a lot of micro. Well, you know, okay. I was gonna say maybe a little bit of micro needed. And that gaunt ran really far away. Didn't want to get any mistake of being aggroed on. Meanwhile, there's creeping nearby, and looks like Dutchy is not going to try and put any pressure on that. Of course, not necessarily knowing that it's there right now. But taking that vision camp is a good way to just steal a little bit of those creep resources that are on Kaguya's side of the map. And then, you know, it's safe to always return to your side and gather some more. We've got an imp heading out over here. Looks like a third base might be on the way. And now we've got a nice little ball of gaunts here that should have no problem creeping this. And let's check in on Kaguya here. We've got about 6, 7, 8 Argents here. Mostly just Argents so far. We do have that therium mining, but has it been used for anything yet? It's not clear. Here we have a Star Forge coming on the map. And yeah, that's about it for tech back home at the moment for Kaguya. It looks like focusing on economy, another arc ship coming out here, and just a bunch of collection arrays and prisms. A couple fiends from Dutchy coming across the map, trying to get a scout out, see what's going on. Uh, these Argents haven't been very active on the map. They've only creeped 2 camps. They haven't tried to capture that fishing camp. So Dutchy's just trying to figure out what is going on over here. And getting a pretty good glimpse with this one fiend, at least of these 2 bases, seeing that they're up and expanded, but not really getting into the tech here to see what's going on. Okay, and now we do have some more tech being put down. We have a Legion Hall and an Ascension Matrix. Okay, so there's definitely going to be a couple different tech choices plus upgrades coming up for Kaguya. And that Imp, it looks like, went for a very long distance expansion to the double Therium camp over here. Maybe hoping to keep that a little bit a secret and therefore a little better protected because it's out there in the distance if it doesn't get detected by Kaguya. And what did we have coming out here? Sabers coming out. And do we get any upgrades started or anything coming out of these new tech buildings? Another Star Forge here. Again, nothing started yet. So, Argents and Sabers mostly gone. So we now have this Luminite camp being captured by Dutchy as well. And there's a scan going down. You see the camp being captured. You put the scan down. Let's... you know, what's that army force looking like right now? At least the creeping force. Well, this is an interesting choice to send his whole army. Because Kaguya has been at home most of the game and not been very active on the map, his army is not been necessarily scouted. Those Argents were scouted by some fiends, but the Sabers not. So you could have kept the Sabers secret, but that lets Dutchy know that there are Sabers on the map now. And Dutchy can begin to prepare his own counter for those Sabers, whatever he might think that is. We will hopefully see that on the map soon. Now we got another creeping of this Luminite camp, while finally Kaguya is starting to move out and reclaim some of these camps on his side of the map. We've got a little Therium collector. What is that? What they're called? Therium purifier. Oh. There we go. Okay, we do have our upgrades to the pulse shield on the sides, and then Animancer training coming up for upgrades there. So we can expect, of course, some Animancers being added. None just yet, but we do have 4 Sabers now. And for Dutchy, it looks like he's staying on Gaunt Tank right now, and they are fully upgraded. Their Reaper's Rush and Plague Axe is finished. And we are now into that second phase of creeping on the map, and looks like, is Dutchy going to add it? Ooh, I do see some tech in the back here. We have 3 Twilight Spires, and we have a Shadow Cleft. That means we could probably expect some Spriggans coming out very shortly as soon as that Shadow Cleft is finished. And he's probably just buying time now with his upgraded Gaunts as well to wait for those Spriggans to come out and hopefully do something. It's very interesting that this Fiend has lived in the main here for so long. Possible that he can't see it on his own vision, in his own minimap, I'm not sure. And the size are being added now. And more expansion going down. More expansion, as you can usually expect from a Celestial. And here we have the Spriggans coming out onto the map. What do we have there? 4, it looks like 9, 10, 11. And where are they headed? They're headed up to this base first. Nope, they're angling over to this base here. Meanwhile, the army of Kaguya has moved down to this creep camp. And they are just going to swing right past that and go right into this natural of Kaguya and immediately start targeting down. We got a link node already. We got the collection array, and despite the Sovereign's Watch. These brigands get a good harass, and now we have the army of Kaguya zoning around, trying to keep them away from the base. We have a new collection array going down to replace the one that was lost. These brigands look like just coming straight back home. And we've got some fiends, it looks like, coming over to the right side of the map. And they're going to get on top of this link node and take it out, but there's a blast node behind it. And yes, a few of them are going to get on that blast node. There's a Sovereign's Watch on the blast node, and oh, that's just enough to melt all those fiends, unfortunately. So nice try at the run by, just not enough fiends. Unfortunately, Celestial's pretty good against fiends in the base if they've got those blast nodes up. And these brigands once again on a out on the map trying to get, okay, they find some prisms. This time they're not going to fly right by, they're going to take their time to harass them, and then they're off again. Seeing this army. Now this army is not super great, I guess, against brigands. The Argents of course can shoot up. The Animancers might get a good Dark Prophecy out. Even the size I'm not sure, because brigands do extra damage to heavy. The sides are heavy, I believe. Let's take a look. What I think they do extra damage versus heavy as well. So yeah, that seems like that's in the favor of the Spriggans if you're just in an air-to-air battle there. And again, these Spriggans jumping on top of a link node, now attacking some prisms. And these sides come over to try and deal with them. And, ooh, flying right over the Argents. The Argents all powered up. Ooh, and a good Dark Prophecy going down. Oh, wow. Just managing to get out. A lot of them very low. I'm not sure if any of them went down. Not clear. And, yeah, a lot of them low now. A couple more Spriggans being added. Ooh, a lot more Spriggans being added. And meanwhile, oh, we've got some Shroudstones going down on this side of the map. Meanwhile, we've added Weavers. I like that. And looks like there's a bit of a contain going down here. Also, these Spriggans find this base, take out some more prisms. There's a link node at the top. There are now some sides in there with their pulse shields on. And the Spriggans retreat again. So, sort of a forward attack base here. With a Wraithstone on the way as well, almost finished. Of course, we'll slow units within the Shroud radius and also deal damage to any units in the radius over time. I believe it's 2% per second, something like that. So we haven't seen a real clash between the armies yet. There's just been some Spriggan harass, and Kaguya has stayed on his side of the map. Now, if he did push out, I think these units might do quite well against that Static D down there. The Sabers in particular. The Scythes also are fairly good against Static D. They might be able to get these Spriggans to come home. Now, there are Shadow Flyers escorting these Spriggans now. A nice kill on that collection array just as it's being put down. And again, retreating. The Scythes trying to chase them, but I guess retreating back to not get drawn out of position. Spriggans right on top, and the Shadow Flyers coming down. That was a good split. Now we get a pretty good impact. Interesting choice not to try and go in and attack the weakened sides. After a good Shadow Flyer hit, there's usually a lot of weak units there, and you can clean them up a bit. Alright, these sides trying to stay in a defensive position while these Spriggans are looking for another opportunity to attack. And then there's a standoff at the Wall of Shroud over here. We've got Blast Nodes and Strike Nodes on this side. We got Shroud Nodes on that side. I dare you to move across, says both of them. And Dutchy's Spriggan's just chilling for the moment. What do we got going on here? And Imp's deciding maybe I'll put down a shrine over there. Kaguya has not really... Oh, here we go. Now we're getting a little push onto these Shroud Stones. And it's now we're going to get a little bit of back and forth, as neither of them really want to attack into the static D. I think Kaguya should have tried again, but these Spriggans come in to cause some trouble, trying to take out some of these strike nodes. But the Sovereign's Watch and this whole army coming over is definitely chasing them away. Okay, but still no forward movement out of Dutchy over here. He's got his Shroud Stones up, but hasn't pushed out yet. Content to try and harass and contain. I think Kaguya is not content to decontain. Ooh, we do have some Weavers. Maybe those were just misrallied or pushed their way to the front. But now it looks like there is going to be a little bit of a battle. We got Shadow Flyers flying in to try and get some nice hits on that. The Spriggans are retreating, actually. We have Weavers trying to do some yanks and lashes on those Animancers and Sabers. And both teams retreating. I think a lot of losses on both sides. A scan to see how strong exactly is that force. Hexens being added. Interesting. Some Shadow Flyers as well. These sides, where are they headed now? Maybe it's time for them to do some harass. We have some Morph Cores, yeah, going out to claim some more bases. And both our players on quite a bit of a bank here. Kaguya as much as 3,000. And we now have Shroud Stones going down on this side here. A lot of them. So Dutchy's at least trying to spend his bank. Another shrine. And we can see that this base was his third, but he's now got this fourth base up. He's got this base up. So Dutchy's almost taken the whole side of his map, or his whole side of the map. Ooh, here we have a nice, interesting fight where these sides get caught a little bit out of position and a little bit of a flank. And, well, a lot of them are allowed to actually limp home very low on health, which is very lucky for Kaguya. What's going on over here? We have an Aeon Gate, or the Celestial Nidus Worm. Although these Spriggans, it looks like they maybe saw this on the map, and now it's invisible. I'm still not 100% sure of how the mechanics of that, because I haven't seen one. Oh, here we go. There's some Sabers coming out there. Oh, ooh. Alright, so this is finally, there's some return harass, which is a bit necessary. And these Spriggans trying to get on top of the Animaster, but the Animaster hits back with the Dark Prophecy. And we do have a ground army, a lot of brutes coming in here. The Sabers deciding to retreat. Ooh, but the Aeon Gate taken out. This army's going to have to live here, do the best that they can. But it looks like they've been taken out. Meanwhile, there's been a push up at the top here that's managed to take out the Static D up here. So this was a nice distraction play from Kaguya to break the center. However, the Weavers and the Gaunts come back, managed to get a couple good lashes off. The Gaunts now doing that good DPS on these Argents. Notice there is no Shroud, so there is no Infest, which one of the things those Shroudstons were doing there was making sure there would have been infests in any combat. But that was a nice push by Kaguya to get rid of that forward position. There is still this forward position, which is looking pretty ugly. But again, the sabers here and the size are both pretty good against that kind of static D wall. This is a nice army, mostly tier 1. We know our gaunts are upgraded, but our brutes are not. Of course, weavers do not have any upgrades. They kind of come fully upgraded, ready to do everything they need. And we've got Spriggans over here. Okay. So now at this point, Kaguya has caught up to Dutchy in the macro and has also taken every base on his side of the map. And it looks like this is going to be a very kind of defensive match as more forward shroud stones going up over here. And yes, of course, the blast nodes and the strike nodes for the Celestial. So now Dutchy has managed to spend out that bank that he had, whereas Kaguya is still sitting on top of a couple thousand Luminite. Perhaps just being Therium blocked, which is something that happens to Infernals a lot. Still, this base and this Fiend, Collection Array and some Prisms that could maybe be off doing something else. But that base that just said, you know, that Fiend has lived there for a very long time. Alright, so it looked like there was some attempt at harass over there, but there was some static D and possibly a Sovereign's Watch that went down. Trying to take the Vision Tower. Of course, that Vision Tower being controlled by Kaguya means that Kaguya's had a vision on this army in this position for a while. And now Kaguya moves up onto the high ground there and says, you know, you can't take my tower. Oh, and now able to fire down from the high ground onto the low ground and able to take out some of the static D down here. Something that now that he's aware of it, I'm sure he's going to maybe try and continue to hold this high ground. Yeah, we see some more link nodes and blast nodes going down up there so that he can hold the high ground. Interesting thing that goes on here, because of this Wraithstone, the creeps that are in the radius of it are automatically aggroed when they respawn, which can be good or bad. Alright, this central position broken once again. Now we are having a battle going down. We have upgraded Hellborns using that Molten Touch. We have Lashes going down on some of the high expensive units. We have a Fiend run by trying to get on top of these Sabers and Argents, and we have sides above. There is a Dragon. It looks to me like both sides are getting some really good kills on each, but in the end of all this, we have the Sabers and the sides unfortunately going down, unable to retreat. And at the end of that, we've got the Infernals coming out ahead. Although reinforcements are already arriving for Kaguya. And despite the Infernals coming out ahead, they were left with not a lot left over at the end. And it looks like Dutchy is indeed trying to re-max or rebuild that army himself. With that said, the supply is telling a story, and Dutchy adding even more now to being 100 supply over. Ooh, and we see, what are these morph cores doing over here in collection array? He's just saying, hey, I'm going to start tower rushing you right up in your base. Ooh, another Aeon Gate. Are those transferring imps going to notice? So there's the Aeon Gate back home. And are we going to see an army pop out here? Some fiends. See the link node? But it's too late. The Aeon Gate is already here. Okay, this collection array is just a scout collection array. Don't mind us. And we now have an army out. Ooh, it's a tiny little strike force. Need some detection, I think, if you want to take that out. Sort of bad timing to pop out. Dutchy's army was all standing right, or sitting right there. These morph cores. Make a little link node. Oh. Now what? Some detection. Bird detectors. Weavers? I'm not sure. Oh, there's shadow flyers there. Shadow flyers definitely are detectors. These morph cores, scout morph cores. This army gathering in the middle. Well, yeah, another army gathering for Kaguya up here as well. Now, they can't do this forever. At some point, you have to push into each other. Can't just stand behind your defenses. You're gonna mine out. Now, Dutchy's the one with the bank, but he's also maxed. Ooh, another Aeon Gate coming out here. One Animaster unfortunately trapped. But now a little Strike Force taking out the production. We got one vault going down already. And Dutchy's going to have to be called back. Another vault's going down. And the swarm of fiends comes in with... Ooh, I like that. A nice Dark Prophecy. This Animaster deciding I'm here. Nope, actually getting out of it. I like that. Okay, so that was a nice little strike. Not getting super lot of damage, but managing to get into the production and causing trouble. And I'm sure Dutchy is worried about some more of these Aeon Gates appearing up in his base. We do have another Morph Core coming down to get that done. We see some Spriggans over here doing a little bit of a scout to see, hey, can I find that? Where is the little morph core going? Hey, there's another morph core. This, of course, is the trick you can do. Oh, yes, very smart. Putting some buildings around in the blank spots. But the trick you can do when you got a Nidus or an Aeon Gate is you can just make more than one of them. And then when the units come to one location to defend, you just scoot into the gate and rotate around to the other one. Although it looks like there is a giant brute force here trying to make their way into this. Now this does not look like something the brutes are going to deal with very easily, especially on a move like that. We need a little bit of micro. A couple of the Sovereign's Watches going down. And already so many of the brutes have melted to this tower defense here. Only a few towers. Meanwhile, there's a battle in the front where we have some weavers duking it out with some sabers, and there's some size above while there's a dragon is fighting with some Spriggan escort. But these units retreating back to this base here, while there's still just a little bit left over of this strike force, not getting too much damage done there. Another little skirmish down here in the center. A couple weavers going down. Dark Prophecy and some Hellborn shooting some final shots away, saying, get out of here. Get out of here. Retreating back, are you going to go ahead to that Aeon Gate again and get some Aeon Gate antics in? Or where are you headed? This base seems to have stabilized from that brute attack. And we got a little Air Force over here. Okay, strike node taken out. Another morph core. More morph cores. Morph. Dutchy now sitting on a bank of 6,500. Not maxed, but still sitting on a large bank, can easily max up. I'm sure he's got many charges. Again, it's a big old tower defense game for both of these players. Okay, a little bit of action out of this army. And a growing force from Dutchy. Almost maxed again. Okay, this Air Force trying to do something up on the high ground. Being pushed back by Kaguya. Again, just a lot of more towers. Oh, you want to come up here? More towers then. Next time you come back, there will be even more towers. Some creep in action. Some size. Trying to kill off some of these static DF here. Summon Super Shroud Stone comes down and chases them away. We've passed the 30-minute mark. Let's do a little summary. Mind out. Mind out. Mind out. Mind out. Mind out. Mind out. Mining. Mind out. Mining. So Dutchy has 3 mining bases. Mining. Mind out. Mind out. Mind out. Mind out. Mind out. Mind out. Wow. Wow. So we know why Kaguya isn't necessarily being aggressive. Kaguya has no income at the moment. Well, it looks like there is a trickle. We have 1 collection array up here, yes. Wow, that's not good for Kaguya. Whereas Dutchy is sitting on a 7,000 bank and is effectively maxed out. And we have our Air Force coming in here. At some point, Dutchy's going to have to take this army and try and do something with it. Scout collection array. And okay, making... Ooh, and now we have a push down into the static B. Of course, if Kaguya wants to win this, Kaguya has to kill every single Shroud Stone on the map, not to mention all the other buildings and likely the army. So the only chance is to keep trying to push in. And now there's a battle. For Kaguya, this cannot go efficiently because he has to preserve every single unit he has with the lack of income, although he does have this Luminite tower now. That is the benefit that he has. Ooh, this Aeon Gate. Okay. Did he create one? No. You just pop them out over here for a little bit of fast transfer. But we have the Air Force over here trying to take out this base. Remember, this is the only mining base. Looks like they're going to do it. And then Kaguya's force is going to push into these Shroud Stones now. Again, a lot of them. But necessary if Kaguya wants to win. Is going to have to break these positions. and doing pretty good. This is one of the only other mining bases on the map, and it just went down. And now there's this enormous brute force showing up. There's so many brutes. Some lashes going down from the weavers, trying to get some of those animancers and sabers over to the back line so the brutes can get on top of them. And just being chased away. Those size now are the only thing left. We have some fiends chasing the sabers back. The size, of course, pretty good against everything there except for the few gaunts that were added at the end. And now there are some, ooh, I think, well, other than the static D there, I thought those brigands might be able to win that. And, well, looks like Dutchy says, alright, I'm going to rebuild. I'll make more crowdstones. I still have 7,000 in the bank. We do have an Aeon gate going in the back door. Right on top of the projection. This could be good. Ooh, a bunch of sabers pop out. Nice. Well, I don't know if you necessarily should target the Hellforge first, but these buildings are going down really quick to these sabers. And we see a bunch of units moving across the minimap trying to get back here and stop this. A couple brutes. And some shadow flyers, and they're going to be able to see the Aeon gate, but boom, inside. Now, there's going to be a follow-up to that. GG, and that's the follow-up. Well, this was an interesting game on Isle of Dread, mining out the entire map. Pretty cool. So thanks a lot for watching, and stay tuned for more Stormgate content.